on this computer. Awesome. Cool. So yeah, it's August. Nothing much happens generally. But I'd say hello. So I've been on holiday for the last couple of weeks. I'm a little bit behind. I'm meant to be promoting stuff to do with antennas. So I'm just going to crack on with doing that ahead of, over this weekend, and just casually do it over the next month, just to make sure we don't lose sight of that. The intermediate course, is that finished since? I think that one's finished in the last month.
Intermediate, yeah, that finished last month.
Yeah, that's going on well. I noticed some stuff going on generally with some things. You guys seem to be playing with the replacement for Paul everywhere, but I've not had a chance to catch
Yeah,
up.
Lance has had a play with it and registered the Microsoft account for it, I believe.
Yeah.
I think I'll probably use my own Microsoft account to anything I set up. I'm attracted to embedding it into PowerPoint. See how that works.
That would be cool.
Yeah,
We'll see. PowerPoint on this computer, unfortunately.
The full course started last week. It now has 50.
Fair enough.
I haven't advertised 50.
50, right.
The first was last Wednesday, the first session where they get to know each other. There was 29 online. Hence the question with Paul everywhere, because some people couldn't log on.
We got into the trouble.
Yeah, I actually have the last course. I had it all planned to use it. I only used it the once on the first one, so it doesn't really matter. But I'm attracted to this other system, and I might have a look and play with the PowerPoint.
As long as it's not mega, is it free?
It's free.
Paid, or?
I think it's £60 a year for 1,500 responders. I think free the 100. But if you want to get like our own branded page where they look at, then you have to pay the £60 a year.
To be fair, if it's something that we're going to use as a productivity tool and you guys are happy that it's a good replacement, we've covered. I mean, the full course has covered that. How many times with 50 people?
Yeah. Well, the last course was 36, so that's 80. That's 86 people have had through.
50 quid. That's that. The full course is paid for that software.
I mean, it looks good. It works well. The only issue is it doesn't import CSV files. The only import is its own JSON specific format. So I was looking at writing something that converts our CSVs into JSON, so it will import them.
Yeah, I haven't looked at that side of it. The bit that attracted me was it could be embedded into PowerPoint.
It's
with replies via the viewers. So, and I think you could also embed it into Zoom as well. I've done a couple of webinars on Zoom which had that software package on, and they were quite effective. Asking for responses from the audience via various methods, type of word that you think, getting word clouds and putting answers and various polls out, and that seemed to work quite well, quite smoothly. But that was provided by professional companies, so it could be a possibility. But it's as the full course is mostly written and it's only a few amendments to do on it now and again. I'm not going to chase it wildly, if you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Well, yeah, I mean, that's just a keep it within the training budget type thing. It's money we didn't put into the group, so with that kind of amount, we can just spend it, to be honest.
So I don't know what you want to do, Lance, but I think if we just have a play with it first, and then if we need the license, we'll ask them.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Okay.
Basically, depending on what you guys do, I'll just transfer the intermediate stuff onto whatever platform you guys have picked out from it. Intermediate's probably fine to be left alone. Obviously, I'm going to be helping with full a couple of times this time round. How's it going in general with the structure, and are you happy with it now at the moment, how it is? I've not been to one before, so I'm just curious.
What, the full?
Yeah.
I'm getting a bit more practice with presentation, I think. Owen put a remark on that he'd watched the video and thought it was very professional. Obviously, he's had 2 or 3 glasses of wine before.
Saturday evening.
Vic,
Talking of which, hold on. I'll be back. I'm listening.
Vic was there, but he's disappeared. But Vic was present on it. Hippie was there, so it seemed to run okay, and that was just the first get to know each other. What I would like to talk about with training is that I toyed with some dates. I think they're on the schedule on one of the sheets there. We need to think about dates for next year.
Yeah.
I don't know the best time to run things. Do we run more foundation? You know, like if we were to run 2 full, do we run 3 intermediate and 4 foundation? I don't know.
What are your thoughts on Lance? Because the foundation went well again. It was a nice group.
Yeah, it went well. We had, I think, 9 in the end. I think pretty well they've all passed, so that's good. We need to get more out there about it. We're not on the RSGB website yet, and we're not on Essex. No, and we're not on Essex Ham's page. So we could do with getting a bit more out there. The more often we run it, the more people we're going to get, and maybe do it alternate with each full and intermediate. So we do, full foundation, intermediate foundation, something like that. Maybe.
So schedule a foundation before intermediate, and then a month or a couple of months before we announce the intermediate and say, not got your foundation yet. Now's a great time. We have a blah. You can get your foundation done within the month, ready for the intermediate in blah type thing.
Yeah, maybe we should do foundation, intermediate, full, then people can just follow through one to the other.
Yeah, there's that as well. But some of the feedback that I've had about the full, probably because it's a bit more involved and people need to commit more time to it in the short time span, is that it's the struggle to fit it within work and family commitments. So the summer is not a good time for the full.
Yeah. There's nothing happens at this house. It's kind of everything goes on to its summer lull. August is just a dead month. It always is.
Yeah. So I toyed. It was a while ago. I looked at them and let's have a look, see if I can find it. See if I did it. I know I did something.
Skeleton planner, is that it?
That's probably it, yeah. Let's have a look.
You've done that, haven't you? Foundation, intermediate, full,
Just to see what it looked like. That's totally flexible. Where are we now? We're at the second batch of the first batch of green.
Yeah.
With 2s in, because we've done the intermediate at 5. We've done FC2. Now we're doing FF2. So then I've looked at October and November for foundation and intermediate, with the full starting in January.
Mm-hmm.
Do those times fit, do you think? And then just run with that.
Right. Yeah, absolutely.
Right. I
can go through. I can go through the webpage tomorrow and the PayPal systems and reflect that.
Right. So if I take that and put it in the schedule with the template that I've done to just give everybody some dates to steer themselves by.
I wonder whether we should have the foundation in between the intermediate and the full as well. Just people want to do it there and then, don't they? They don't want to wait from October till March.
It's a resource. Mind you, the foundation's not too bad. It's kind of like a cute little thing that pops up.
Yeah. And it's finished in a week and a half as well.
Yeah. And the foundation, you don't do a Wednesday, do you?
No.
You do. So
you do 4 days or 5.
The foundation could be, if we ink in those foundation dates, we can always add more if there's a demand.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, because I think looking at it, there seems to be a lot of demand for the intermediate and full, because people hear about it and then come on the server a fortnight before it starts.
Yeah.
And then they just come on, do the course, and we never see them again. We don't even know if they've passed.
All right. Yeah.
So what's the demand like for the 3 levels?
So, well, for intermediate and full, as far as I'm aware, we've not advertised them this year, and they've all been fully subscribed.
So like 30 people or more?
50.
50 people.
I've got 50 on this full now,
Yeah.
and the first
All
one I
of
had 33 on, and we didn't advertise any of them.
And the
Intermediates had
foundation
50.
and the intermediate's been 50 as well.
Yeah, 50
Yeah.
on all. With a realistic retention of you end up with about half as many
Yeah, about half
by
yeah.
the end,
Yeah.
and about half of them tuning into the final few videos, but they stay through. But they pay the pennies, they're free to run off.
Yeah.
And
And
the foundation seems a
those
bit-
that arrive last minute and come on and do the course, you might find you've probably got a third of your course is doing that. But of that third, you're going to retain 20% of them on the server anyway.
Yeah.
Well, the statistic to run on, I would say, is pretty standard with the with most clubs and most things, is you tend to have a 1 in 10 retention.
Mm.
So I would expect 1 in 10 to stay for a year.
All right.
and foundation, what sort of numbers do we get for that?
We had 3 the first course, 9 the second one. I would expect, I don't think it's going to grow that rapidly.
27 the next course?
Yeah, maybe 15 or something on the next one. Who knows?
The not the difficulty, but the thing is, it's up against a free Essex Ham course that runs.
Yeah, but that's so drawn out.
But they also advertise all over the place as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess.
We don't advertise, and I don't think we need to advertise. Otherwise, it puts a strain on us, the trainers.
I don't mind the idea of advertising an intermediate course with a foundation course being tagged, not got your foundation yet.
Yeah.
Foundation fast track.
Yeah.
Is starting bar.
Yeah, and then also make it so it's a double payment for both of them. So
They can do, but you don't buy the other until you've got the other, or whatever. Anyone who's on the foundation is guaranteed a place on the intermediate, regardless to whether it's fully subscribed or not.
Yeah.
Potentially.
Yeah, that was a supplementary question I had. I've had a couple of inquiries from people who did the previous full, would like to redo the course.
Like me.
My suggestion would be they don't pay, they just ask and we just give. We don't say anything. If they ask us, we say yes, you can have that place, and we'll just put them on the next course.
I'm
they paid the £5, and they've
the $5 at the end of the day, the $5 was about ensuring people don't take the places and do one.
Yeah.
So if they're asking the question, yeah, absolutely.
There's life interrupts hobbies all the time, unfortunately.
And full
people start with good intentions and they can't make it, and they think they need some more. There's a guy come on, he's done the full, he's passed his full exam, but he's conscious that he doesn't know it all, so he's asked to do the course as well.
Yeah.
So
I mean, welcome to the club for everyone, to be honest. If anyone says they get full, they clearly don't get something.
The full skimmed over so much of it, so
yeah. So that's fair enough. If somebody asks, just say yes, but we don't advertise it.
There is another interesting idea with people that sort of want to resit or redo the course. It would be interesting, like if they would be willing to actually give some of the presentations, because allegedly, from what we know, giving the presentation is the best way to actually learn about the subject.
Well, as you know yourself, Vic, the first session I asked, can you add everything? And that's hopefully that seeds some grains of guilt in people, and they might want to help out. Deliver.
This is maybe playing on people's feelings of it, but if it's timed sufficiently, then asking people who are about to start the full course to help deliver the foundation course. So like we open up the full course like a month beforehand. We just do anyway. So if we added that group saying, look, we're looking at running a foundation course, helpers would be very welcome. And it's a great way for you to refresh your foundation knowledge ahead of your course.
Well, there you go, Vic. You can do that. I have no problem with
So
that.
So pull people who are about to start the full in 4 weeks' time, who are clearly eager, and try and get them to help with the foundation.
Yeah.
And then with that, it means that you can also even more automate the foundation. So you could have like every other foundation be basically nearly fully automated by the volunteers from the full.
But also, we could just advertise, on the server at some stage, or even during the full last weeks of the full or first weeks of the full or something, say, hey, guys, if any of you would like to, help out and deliver the foundation, please just come forward.
Yeah.
And
or the
there'll be,
intermediate or the full.
or just with that, it's kind of there is in the Scouts organization that I used to belong to. That was the thing. You were supposed to raise your the next generation of guides. So it's kind of the same way. If we can maybe at the end of the full or something like this, look guys, we are open for the for you to deliver some of other courses if you feel like doing it. Maybe even if the one person would come forward out of everyone, that will build up some base of the trainers.
The numbers of people who get through, there's got to be people there with aspirations to be trainers or have done some training.
Yeah. And even if, to be honest, even if it's just pitched as you can just come along and just keep an eye on the text chat and talk up questions when you see them, raise them up.
Yeah.
So they're not actively. And then when we're having a pre-meeting, we can just run through do you want to mention this?
And also it means that then once they've done that, they know the format of our courses and know what to expect for their full course somewhat as well.
Yeah, training the trainers is a thing, So maybe they would like to come and shadow the course.
I'm still trying to train myself.
I know. I started rereading the full manual.
Yeah.
So,
it's getting other people involved, and we've got to drop those hints as often as we can. Got to train me replacement. Got to find an bug to fill the screen with.
Especially on Foundation should be able to run itself. Okay, sounds like so the only other training thing would be the open study, which Paul has been running, and it's antenna month starting at some point this month. It was originally going to be the first, but then life got in the way several times. My house decided not to bother doing roof properly. I've now got a permanent installation of buckets and various other things. But yeah, so going to need to do a little bit of work on that tomorrow. I've set aside, basically my partner's still up north, and I've got all tomorrow and most of Sunday to myself. So I'm planning on just banging through things that I know I'm overdue. So tomorrow
you'll switch his radio on, and that'll be done.
Yeah. So I'm gonna I think I said I was going to create, slightly reshuffle the channels to make it clear that antennas was a thing, then probably spend a few hours coming up with questions to ask throughout the month, throughout the 30-day period relating to antennas to prompt discussion. So I'll probably create a channel, Antennas in Focus or something, and then make it clear. I think what we said is we wanted to keep this, we didn't want to make more channels and more mess. We wanted to use the existing thing and just have like an in focus area.
Could we use the threads feature to?
Yeah, I was going to come on to that as a kind of, do we want to do anything with the threads feature?
It's only,
it's
only useful for short-term discussions.
It archives after a day, and that's not changeable unless you're
it's more of a chat thing, isn't it? When we've used it on satellites, it's good to have a little chat, but it's gone.
Yeah.
And there's no easy way to capture anything that was good in that and store it. That's the annoying bit. It's not like you can highlight part of the thread and say, keep that.
Yeah, I was wondering what they were doing with it as a general thing, because it didn't really work into the. I was wondering how they were planning to integrate it when they have.
It's probably really useful for gamers, which is what Discord's about, isn't it?
Yeah, it's probably just a feature someone wanted to try and they've tried it, and it's not integrated to anything. The second version.
But you know what? I think we spent a good part of half an hour in the last meeting trying to see what we are going to do with it. And did we not say we're going to just pin it the antennas channel under the open study or something?
Oh no! That we're not talking about that anymore. We're talking about
okay.
Talking about what's the word?
Threads.
the new server functionality where you can create.
Okay. Okay.
And I'd kind of figured I'd leave it to see if anything happened organically, and it kind of, someone posted a thread for a day and then it went away and no one seems to have used it since.
Yeah, it's useful for the pub meets. We've used that quite a bit. Yeah.
But also sometimes it's kind of nice because sometimes you just want to have a rant on something, and maybe you don't have that.
Disappear.
Yeah, you just disappear in there, you know.
Oh, so you mean if you go onto the Rubber Duck under the Torrin started a thread, everything's still there. It's just archived.
Yeah, if you click
But
the
if you
hash
post
code.
in it, it brings it back to life.
Oh, okay.
That's interesting.
It was used in the PBX admin channel, but it was attached to the wrong comment, and you can't actually move it once it's been written on. It stays on that comment. It's a bit weird.
Fair enough. Then delete
I've
it.
re-archived it.
And active thread. Oh yeah, you can still get to archive threads when you click on threads.
Yeah.
It'll have its value if it has it, I guess.
Just see what happens if people find they're not useful, they'll not use it. If
Yeah.
they find it useful to use it, doesn't matter to us, does it?
And also
might be
because
able
they
to use it.
disappear,
You
it
might be able
doesn't
to use
clutter.
It's hard enough to try and keep track of everything that's happening on the server anyway, so it doesn't matter, does it?
Yeah, without adding more to it. Yeah, that's fair enough.
The advantage of threads is that you don't get a ping every time somebody speaks on a thread.
If you join the thread, then you do get a ping.
Yeah, okay, right.
And also if you, for example, with the Rubber Duck Pub, we pinged at the Rubber Duck Pub group and it made everyone in that group join the thread.
Right, okay.
Which is
Right.
okay.
Yeah, it's just I think it's just a matter of playing with it and don't abuse it, and then if it's of use, people will use it, and if it's not, it'll die out.
Yeah.
Okay. Right. So we kind of had a feeling this might end up being the end result anyway, but it looks like field days ain't happening.
Well, up to now, it's not.
Yeah.
I've been Googling around Northumberland. I found another possible site. So I'm going to contact a friend of a friend to see if he can find a contact number for it. It's an old airfield.
Okay. That'll do.
Big and flat.
Yeah.
I still plan on, as part of the antenna thing, I still plan on contacting someone.
The one thought I had was, why don't we do a distributed field day? If we can't all come together, why don't we all, find a field somewhere and try and do something at the same time?
We can, but you kind of tend to see those events happen naturally. I think there was
true
2 meters on the air or something, or where they got stations around the country. I mean, we could do it as a promotional type event, but I'm just aware of time it takes to do that kind of thing.
See, I was looking forward to going out to meeting like-minded folk and having to play with some different wires in the air sort of thing for a weekend. That's
play with other people's rigs. Let's be honest.
I mean, we could have a digital only.
Yeah. I'd be bored after the first 10 minutes.
Book out a travel lodge and it's DMR.
Yeah.
That sounds so depressing.
All right, money before I forget. Desktop 3, is that safe to share? We've got too much, to be honest.
Uh-huh.
Oh Lord, what are we going to do with this?
Yeah, it's now verging on being not a concern, but
well, one of the thoughts I had, which is for the field days, was some feather masts and flags, feather flags and masts with OARC on the air on them. It would be worth having to get something like that. Who would keep it, where it would stay, how would get it moved around the country? I don't know, but it's certainly something
we
we
can put it
could
in a
have.
taxi at this amount of money, to be honest.
Yeah.
Or,
A Royal Mail.
Pre-printed banners to fasten against walls or fences for
we
when we do get around.
Yeah, I mean, obviously,
we could do some sort of giveaway of like a raid, maybe not a giveaway, but do sort of loss leading raffle of a radio or something like that.
I've still
You
got
know
one.
what? All you would need is just the flags. Everybody has a poll at home. You know, like you just need to pack them, fold them in the envelope, and off you go.
Yeah,
Because everybody has a fiberglass pole in the house.
That's true. That is true, and you can also put a wire on it at the top of it at the same time. You know.
Yeah.
So if you go to a caravan site, they don't like
poles within reach.
if you go to a campsite, they don't want aerials, don't want antennas. You just put these flags up with little bits of wire on the top.
I don't know what you mean. That's not what I do at all.
Yeah.
Anywhere.
In a kind of
Very patriotic down my road.
In a kind of inverted V way to help it stay up.
Yeah, like guys.
Yeah.
These are guidelines. Yeah, they're just very on the top. You know, it's a new style. You know.
Yeah, maybe fan typo comes with 3 points off my fiberglass one. But yeah, that is something we could probably do with. And like Vic says, it's something that could be posted around the place, couldn't it?
Yeah.
And you don't need the poles. Everybody has a pole at home.
Yeah. But that's not going to spend £1,700, is it?
No.
No, that was like more like 150 for 3.
The problem we're going to have is this is going to keep going up because of the training courses. This is every time we have a training course, we have 250 quid come in.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
we spend 100. If we include this software, we spend 190 a year.
Yeah.
Look, we can just keep accumulating, and we can, in case we need to dissolve, then we will just donate it somewhere.
I think it's covered in the Constitution.
Yeah.
I was a bit. People weren't necessarily happy originally because I was kind of making it all excessively formal and stuff when we started. But dissolution, any debts held by the club will be resolved. Any remaining assets will be donated to a selected charity. So yeah,
simple as that, you know.
Yeah.
M0JQQ.
The Francis and Robin special charity for the improvement of Francis and Robin.
For radio deprived hams.
We could always make ex gratia donations to other charities at the next AGM.
Yeah,
actually, that's not a bad idea. Maybe there is some kind of, maybe Constitution should have that, like, whenever we reach certain level, and maybe some percentage of this income should go to certain charities. I don't know.
The problem is that the charities, if I'm honest, there is an amateur radio charity, and they do a lot of good work, but a lot of the good work they have is dumping people onto radio clubs. And the problem is that there are no people in the radio clubs that can really support the people who the charity is trying to do, but they're not really, there isn't really an infrastructure for them to be able to really help.
So if we were to operate an outreach part of our community, we would have expenses when volunteers went to drive somewhere and possibly stop somewhere to help other people out.
I mean, I was never against the suggestion that if we did anything to go anywhere, it would be something that could be claimed.
That's the first time I see any organization looking for expenses.
Yeah. Could we do anything like to benefit members of the club? Like, is there any sort of, because of course we could do some sort of raffle or something that.
If we did a raffle, we'd have to get them to pay for it. We'd make more money.
No, but like have a raffle of £1 per ticket for 7,300.
I tell you, I have a great idea. I don't know if that would fly, but we should buy a bowfang to every foundation trainee that passed exam.
Yeah, that would.
I kind of like that idea, but
actually, yeah,
I think that's not a bad idea.
Yeah,
well,
we should.
Some clubs.
Not the rubbish one though, like a half decent one, and maybe
it's a TP3 GT. That the yellow one I have. They are 40 quid or something. less than 40 quid.
Some clubs actually charge the training, set the training cost fee so that they cover the cost of a bulk buy Beofang, so that they can, and they include it in, not fully. They pay the trainee ends up paying for half of it.
Yeah,
and the club pays for the other half.
Yeah, that that could actually be a really good idea.
Because I don't know how many, I don't know.
They can pick an FDR stick.
I think we said we want to keep a prudent reserve, and I think that was basically 500 quid.
Yeah, so
when we did the
1200 above that.
So we're currently 1200. So we can currently give everyone a quid.
I tell you, the only problem with buying a Beofang for every trainee that passes foundation is you will be flooded. People will just flock in. You know what these guys are doing? They're giving you a free radio if you pass the exam.
Yeah.
That's I'll be instant. I kind of feel that will be an instant kind of a magnet for people like
I
do
think
a draw.
The better process would be to engage the youth organizations and buy them a decent radio.
Yeah, I agree on that, really.
Yeah,
because the Beofangs a Beofang is fine for a month or two, and then you very quickly realize the limitations, and then it sits in a cupboard or gets retired to something.
But as a new foundation ham, what's wrong with that? Even if they got 6 weeks out of it, pinged a few repeaters, made a few QSOs, that's the point of a Beofang. It's so cheap, it's actually disposable.
What we could do, I don't know where the postage would work out, but we could buy some Beofangs and they put a quid in and we send them it for a few months.
Oh, like a loaner. Yeah.
Yeah, like buy a set of, I don't know, 5, 10, and
you could get them on the discount if you wanted to, engage with wholesale.
Yeah, in 50, dirt cheap.
But you would probably, I don't know, you probably end up paying for 10. You may, it depends what you get. 200 quid.
I'm still more inclined with Robin's point though about giving it to something more, spending more on something a bit better for a local community.
That's true, but then you would need to kind of make a list, shortlist some, and then pick one or raffle one or something.
Yeah, but so there's that idea, but we could also keep the funds and then have, like, if we want to do any sort of de-expedition or something like that as a club, then that would be extremely expensive. And
you could have a little foundation thing, couldn't you, Torrin? Almost like a grant that people could apply if they're doing a de-expedition or they want to go and do something with satellites. You could apply for a grant. We have a little
apply for a grant for
you couldn't afford the flight of Elon Musk to go and visit a satellite.
Also, you need to be full to do a de-expedition.
Yeah, really. But it could be for other things, couldn't it? If someone comes up with a good reason why they want to access, the fund, we could give them a grant, chuck them 100 quid.
The problem is that the constitution and the whole setup of the community is that if anyone comes up with a good idea and they want some money, they ask.
Yeah.
And no one's asked. It's like the 1,700 quid there.
Well, maybe we should tell people that.
See, I did have in mind that if the Northern Field event had gone ahead and hadn't been Kibosh hadn't been put on it, I would have asked for the site fees.
For the what? Sorry,
for the site fees.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I would have asked for it, and if people had said no, that's fair enough. We'll pay our own.
I mean, are we worrying too much here? That let's assume next summer's a normal summer. We'll be doing things, and we'll probably spend it, and we just accept we've got an excess at the moment because it's a quiet time.
Yeah,
next year we might end up doing a ton of stuff, rallies.
Well, we'll definitely do
it at the level where it's embezzlement or anything like that.
No, it's declared. It's all declared and stuff.
I'm not invested in Bitcoin, so it's fine.
Yeah, it's all because it's in mine and Stu's name, but we've had to register there. So it's all declared. It's all there's no.
And if you think back, it's something we discussed when we discussed putting a charge on the training that we would end up with a surplus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're talking about let's see, between now and March, how many courses were we saying on that spreadsheet?
Let's have a quick look. Where are we now? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 until next May.
So how many of those are intermediate and full? 3.
What? Oh God. 1 full, 2 foundation, and 2 intermediate.
So ignoring the
50,
foundation.
670, 80, 120. You talked about 130 people. That's 500 and 650 quid.
Yeah, another 650
So
on top of that. Plus, people keep giving monthly donations.
Yeah.
I know I do.
Yeah.
I think the idea of getting back
Please take your money back, please.
Now, careful, somebody might be watching this.
I think the idea of getting Baofangs to foundation passes though is like a really good idea. I think if we probably shouldn't just give them away, but we should have a system of getting like a 50% discount or a fairly decent
I'd be inclined to suggest that we do the lending first, because I think a lot of people, if you're able to get on Discord, chances are you can afford a 25 quid Baofang.
Yeah.
And I shouldn't really say this bit on YouTube, but if we lend someone a Baofang because they may not be in a good place financially and they don't send it back, but they use it, am I going to lose any sleep?
No, probably not.
Probably not. No.
You've got one in the cupboard that belongs to me.
Yeah. No, I was going to say, I literally.
The payback time.
Yeah. That was I won that raffle we had chunks ago. I won a prize in it. Didn't want it, so just left it there.
Yeah, and it's been taking up space.
Yeah.
You could link it to the Beyond Exams thing as well. That's the other thing you could do.
Oh, so
it's kind of like an accessibility thing, but actually it's about getting you operating on the air. I don't know. There's something in that though. In that idea, it sounds silly, but there is something in that idea that's good.
Yeah.
Give it to them on loan, and then if they pass like the lowest level of Beyond Exams,
if you get a bronze on Beyond Exams,
then you get it for free.
3 times more people than died in the Blitz.
Now that I like, because that's accessible, but also encouraging people to carry on their study, isn't it?
Country should hear. It's about what his government did when the coronavirus struck.
We've got
We've got some.
I think Lance has got something on.
Scott Beamsley Forum.
The first wave of COVID.
There's David Attenborough, narrating coronavirus.
So by next March, if we do nothing with Zoom renewal and everything else having hit, we'll be on 2,500. I can very easily see us spending 500 on promotional materials to go to Hamfest, which is up near Sheffield, probably the Dunstable Downs rally down here because everyone comes to that, and probably whatever that one is in Scotland, whatever the equivalent is in Scotland. So we've probably got 3 rallies. We'll probably want to cover the costs of a table for bring and buy for people to sell stuff from. And maybe the costs of sending someone there who's willing to be a person who just goes to help.
We need some flags and banners for that purpose, but they would move around the sites.
Yeah. Well, we might want, depending on the price, we might want a few. We probably want a northern lot and a southern lot.
Yeah, and a couple of boxes of pens for gizzards.
Yeah. So we could very easily spend 750 on that. So that puts us still on
branded Baofangs.
1,500.
What have I done? What have I done?
You had a brilliant idea, Vic, and sadly we've distorted it.
Oh, well, that screwed it. Now there's going to be 2 videos.
Yeah, let's delete them both.
Yeah. Okay, that works. I guess I'm going to try and find Mr. Where is he?
We paid for the QSO card, right? And this is all.
I don't think no, Paul hasn't done it yet.
No, okay.
As far as I'm
He's
aware.
finished the design, hasn't he?
Yeah.
How much is that going to cost?
85 quid
Some peanuts.
for 1,000.
Yeah.
And we have like 500, so we have like 500 quid for it.
And if we want a barrel family, we've made a QSL.
Well, what about disposable bowfangs? Every time you have a QSO, you just bin it. A burner bowfang.
But I tell you, you're kind of laughing that, it's a disposable radio, but I have people here that, they just go up the hill and I hear someone on the Baofeng every single week. There, it's like someone has a Baofeng somewhere, and it's using it.
Yeah, you'll probably find there's an awful lot around there that are using the channels that come out the box in, and we never hear them because we've already retuned them all.
I was gonna say, I'm just messaging someone who happens to be online about something. Talk amongst yourself for 2 minutes, I guess.
Okay. All right.
I've had a look at the Vivox Zoom integration thing, and it's only if you've got a paid Vivox account. So I've asked them what level you need to be to access that.
Right. Yeah, I think it's a fairly complex bit of web skullduggery that they use, because they don't actually the PowerPoint. It's once you've registered, you get an app to add onto PowerPoint, which accesses everything. I'm not sure how it works both ways, but I'd have to look at that, But
Yeah,
it appears to, so it could be useful. It could be useful. The other question I had. Busy sorting out some stuff for the full. Now, I don't know, but I think it's probably somebody who's a pretty good HTML coder. What I'm looking to do is create a basic block diagram of a transmitter and a receiver. Not necessarily together on the same page, but if we have a tuning knob on the front of it, when we turn the tuning knob, various parts of the block diagram tell us what frequencies have been input.
Oh, that is a nice idea.
Yeah, I've been playing around with it in PowerPoint. I've got a little bit working, but not properly. And the idea would be for those that are on the full that can't grasp how tuners and filters work, that you'd put a block diagram of a standard shack in the box with lots of bands on them, and as you change the band, you'd see which filters come into circuit, and then you'd see which VFOs change frequency, etc. And then you turn the tuning knob and you can see all the differences and additions. So you can realize that the same filters used for two bands.
Could you use, I'm not fully sure about this, but could you use GNU Radio to a diagram in GNU Radio to do that?
I don't know what GNU Radio is.
Oh, it's a digital signal processing application that allows you to create block diagrams of radio transmitters for like software-defined radios and stuff like that.
Right.
It probably doesn't allow you to do what you want to do, but yeah. It's a fair.
Because I've played with I'm halfway through with a PowerPoint slide integrating with Excel, and I'm struggling writing the macros to make it work. Keeps crashing on me.
Yeah,
but it was either turning a knob with a mouse pointer or hitting an up and down button.
Mm-hmm.
Hit a button.
Or slider. A slider would be probably fairly easy. Knob probably could be done as well.
So you want something like an intermediate frequency and then mixer products and stuff like that, right?
And the different information that's in the PLL, etc. Once you've got the system working one way, I'm sure it's fairly easy to integrate other calculations into it.
Yeah, it's just variables in there for you. Just add another box, add another value.
You change bands. It's just a truth table to see which lines go to which filters.
Yeah.
Yeah. like designing my own superhet and then showing it on screen so people can play with it so they can see exactly what's happening. That's all. It was just a time to enhance the.
There is,
like I've got, well, you've got a domain as well, so you could just have that tool, I'd say, that subdomain of the OARC as well, so you could then just share it over.
Yeah.
Oh, I missed whatever that was. It sounded interesting. I heard
What I'm thinking about doing is presenting a block diagram where the user can change bands and change the tuning frequency.
all right.
And that results in seeing the switching that takes place between filters and the switching that takes place with different VSOs and different crystals in order to get that signal out. And as you change the frequency, you can see all the signals are different, all the frequencies at different points.
That would be very cool. That would be very visually helpful.
Yeah. To do it for a SSB transmitter, receiver, and an FM transmitter and receiver. Yeah.
And I get why you were mentioning GNU Radio, because that would be
but you would only go as far as the kind of a block diagram, and then you would just perform the calculation. So
Yes.
you're not interested in wiring this as such.
No, well, the only wiring would be some switches to operate to put the right filter in place. The thing is to demonstrate that one filter can do 2 bands and one VFO can do 4 bands. By changing your master oscillator using the same VFO, you can use another band. This is how transceivers work.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because you could in theory, there's a circuit JS or some of these, you could in theory just program the entire circuit and that would simulate the circuit for you.
It would be extremely complicated though. And
it will be extremely complicated, and it's sort of like if you can replace the actual kind of working of the simulated circuit with the calculation, it's way easier to do that.
So there's a application called FASA, one visual circuit simulator that's
I'll just throw that in. I'll just
diagrams of different parts.
No, you come back with a finished product. I'll be happy.
I can see what you mean by working in GNU Radio. If you had blocks set up as the various frequencies and you literally just intercept it with them, but it would work, but it wouldn't be a web interface or something that was simple.
Yeah,
but it would demonstrate it.
Yeah, it's what I want is something where the user can hit a URL and push some buttons and they can see what's happening. That's all.
It'd be interesting if you can link it up to an SDR.
Possibly, I don't know.
Yeah.
Right.
But it's
yeah, because you would be just doing a mock of SDR, because then you could show the width of the filters and whatnots and what's outside of the skirt. And
SDR uses software to do all this. But what I want to see is how the basic superhet hardware works, because that's what the syllabus is.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't need to be done. But I thought, I've been toying with, and I keep keeping brick walls.
Honestly, I think it's probably best done with a spreadsheet with conditional formatting done in such a way and a drop-down list done in such a way where you select from the drop-down what filter goes in and you see it changes. I think
I could probably do that, but it's writing the macros to interface it with a plain PowerPoint slide, So PowerPoint calls up that macro and then does it.
Well, it could be done without macros with formula, right. and as a result, it could be hosted online.
Yeah, you could just get a spreadsheet or a Google Sheets and then just have the shareable link that you put in the chat for everyone to fiddle with.
Yeah. Google Sheets doesn't do half of what Excel does, so.
No, but it really is insanely simple. If you think, if you can make it look pretty later, but if you think about it in terms of the basic cells, each cell can have a data drop-down list where you can select from a list.
Yeah.
So you just make those the different filters, the different things, and then the output frequency is a formula that just multiplies stuff out. So you just end up with a series of cells where you change this value from a list, you get a different output.
Yeah, and then you could have your borders or your or cells that draw the lines on the block diagram to change color as the band changes, so it selects those filters.
Yeah, and you can also have like cells that are conditionally formatted, so they've got a sort of data bar that moves along them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't think you even have to go into macros. You can literally between a list where they have to select from, locked cells so that they can't edit anything else, formulas and conditional formatting. You could do it all, so it'd work on Google Sheets.
Right. I just tried to. I'll have a play with just Excel by itself, because I've
Yeah.
started at PowerPoint and went into Excel. I think that's where my problem is.
It'll need to be probably just Excel. It would be the simplest.
I'll see. It's an ongoing thing. I've developed another standalone one anyway, so keep developing stuff. Anyway,
I think, do we need to go through anything else in terms of the club stuff? I think next month I'll encourage a lot more shouting. There's not really much point in trying to do anything in August, to be honest, because everyone's doing stuff. Plus, with COVID lockdowns and restrictions becoming more and more over, it's kind of people are going out and living. Sad people.
What are they going out living for?
I don't know. They obviously don't have a good enough. They obviously don't have a PS5 or good enough for the hobbies.
You've got a PS5.
I got 2 at launch.
Oh, I'm still trying to get hold of one. I got one into my Amazon basket this week, but it sold out before I could actually complete the checkout.
Yeah, no, I managed to get 2 at launch. You just had to be extremely eager.
Oh yeah. Well, I've got one of those stock informer alert things.
Do you need the second
problem
one?
is, by the time that the stock, the other one's not mine. The other one was a gift. The problem is, by the time the stock informer updates, it's already sold.
Oh yeah. But it's getting to the point now where I can actually get them in the basket. Previously, they'd gone before I'd even clicked the link.
Right, I've just put a link on for me latest standalone PowerPoint. You want to play with it? See what you think. Let me know what you think. And if it doesn't work, tell me.
PowerPoint.
Oh, nice.
Ooh.
Fancy.
Wow.
Just do it as a presentation.
Oh wow. So
Oh, very nice. You just got carried away with the links.
I'm gonna share screen a second just so that people who are watching can see it.
Oh, click a block. Very good.
I'll go back to that one. Go back to that one.
You've clearly spent a long time.
Go to the next slide now. Click on the blocks on there.
Is it? Oh, you can even get rid of them.
Yeah. How's that?
This doesn't spin.
I know.
You can make it do it. You can have an animation run.
I know.
Damn.
That's your challenge for next month.
Make it spin.
That's a supplementary to add to the.
Then we can do segment displays.
Oh wow, that's great. That is a lot of work, I would say, to make that happen.
Yeah, well, I've been playing with PowerPoint, as I say.
You've just been fiddling around. Yeah.
That's cool. Right, yeah. So do we need to run anything else before I stop recording? I think I'm going to stop recording. Good. Right, bye people.